on engagement, and every time I see that reflection from the sniper rifle, I almost just dodged myself here.
You take a screenshot of that. It's like what do you see moments before disaster? Just a Reaper sniper glint heading in your direction. You literally have a split second. It's like a fastball thrown right down the plate. You only have seconds to decide if you're going to swing, or hopefully it lands outside of the strike zone. Zarian, low-key, battling it out. They won the first game of the day, continued their momentum from the lower bracket semifinals, but they get pushed off of this combat cache by Swizzy and Putrick. For now, it is going to go on over to them. So it gives them the decision if they want to disengage, give it up, or maybe stay over here and try to fight for scraps.
You can see Arya and Loken, they're interested. There's something that they want here as they continue pickaxing for a wall, doing anything that they can to potentially do a bit of damage or even take the combat cache. But for now, they've got no luck.
Still time ticking, low-key, still low towards the low ground. Swizzy trying to peek through the bush. Sniper shot narrowly missing. Swizzy has to be careful, especially with the bush able to cover up a lot of where Loki is hiding. Multiple teams, not just the two that we're seeing here in this position. A third is going to be right on top. Loki trading shots. Swizzy's going to land one. Back him down even more. And that's going to give Swizzy and Putrick all the time in the world to collect all this loot, figure out the loadout they want. And they still don't even have to rotate because they're still in zone.
Clock's ticking. 6 seconds until fourth zone appears. It's not like either duos have to get out of the situation either. It's more just a waiting game. What would be more surprising is if something incredibly aggressive happens. For that, they need an opportunity, whether it be a big shot from a hammer pump shotgun, a quick scope, something to crack their opponent. 68 players up. Nixon even getting a knock on the feed here. But could this be enough as the edits keep popping through, the peaks, but so far nothing to continue the aggression.
So there's a third-party team that's just being so patient on the outskirts, waiting for that fight to end. Mixon, stuck as a solo, just trying to go in and out of these builds to try to stay alive. Finds a huge treasure trove of loot to try to push himself even further here in this game. That's Monier down low towards the bottom. His duo nowhere in this game, and there's 2, 3, 4 teams on the minimap looking in this direction, some still rotating. So what looks like a tough spot to be in just got harder.
Shots come through. 19 white. One more needed to connect. He gets it, but it's not enough. Mixon goes down. Now Moni coming out on top, but is it going to be enough? He gets the refresh. He gets the materials, the shields, but playing as a solo, it's going to make it that much more difficult. Mongrel, Mr. Savage now starting off strong here with 1 elimination. If they can finish the day with a big match and continue that momentum in day 2 with the point format change, it could be more than enough to have a comeback.
Yeah, for them, you got to imagine it's almost all up from here. Not really having the best day. Contested directly, then almost triple, quad contested after that with the teams looming in afterward. So can only go up from here is reason for deal. This team here has a ton to lose if they go down early. Still 10 more teams needs to fall before even one placement point begins to come in, let alone all those other as they continue to stay alive. And they're not too far off from zone, but they are so close to 2 other teams, both behind them and in front in zone.
They see them now. Zooming in. Reaper sniper in hand. No shots being taken. As they quickly turn around. Even get a bit more elevated here. Go right back up the hill. It looks like they don't want anything. Reason and Vidil know all they really have to do is get to the late game. They don't need eliminations right now. Pablo and Bevies as well, trying to hold on to that top 5. Just a couple duos in the area. But so far, nothing to be worried about.
Tayson in the feed, taking down Monier, who would... You said it yourself, will that elimination be enough for him to try to stay alive? And, well, the answer has been given to us by Tayson himself. No, it's not enough to outlast one of the superstars of the region. Pablo, Bevies, not too much to do for them except for wait for zone. As soon as they get that far pulled, that's when they start to make their rotation on over, saving those grapple blades until when they need them most.
Going right back to where they came from at the fencing fields. They said, let's make a rotate, get a quick elim, do a bit of damage, and go right back home to where we started off. They have a good amount of materials, just missing a bit of metal. They could just rebuild on top of the building here and recuperate the materials. For Kiro Kiduo, though, no more fighting. Pink and Vico at the forecast tower, and now up against new opponents by the Hazy Hills.
You see they're calm, cool, collected. This is very, very similar fashion in which they fight against Pink and Vico. They're very, very patient. They let a lot of those opportunities naturally come to them and really don't make moves unless they're forced to. But I will say, with the zone being this far out with a lot of rotation and ground to cover, it's going to have to come down to this crash pad play. Hopefully they have the Flowberry Fizz to kind of combine with that, just so they don't end up in that trench underneath the mountain and slide off of it.
Yeah, you can see the crash pads in hand. It looks like they're going to do a Flowberry crash pad combination for the rotate. Will they succeed? Who knows? As we take a look at Wheat and Shimoki now. 130 above, grapple blades in hand. Crash pads coming through. No shots going to be taken yet, and it looks like they will stop here just on the edge of zone. They don't want to go too deep yet. They know there's some players potentially behind them. You can see now with the builds, they've got their eyes on them. It could be the tags they need here. 63 players up in the 5th zone. Just 3 need to be eliminated for Storm Surge to no longer be active, so it's not going to be incredibly stressful. However, there are times where those 3 players will just not get eliminated and the pressure will be on.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a bunch of solos like Noah here, just running around, out healing, trying to stay alive, doing just enough to stay ahead of the curve. But he's going to take this moment as he sees a lot of these teams moving forward in that direction to try to turn back. He knows where that combat cache was in not too long ago. He realized the med kits are much more impactful, especially as a solo traveling in the zone for him than those big pots. The instant heals with the shield fish, even though it's 40 instead of 50. I think Noah's setting himself up to try to go through the slower side of the zone and let a lot of these teams pass him up, so that way he can find at least a crevice inside that he can hang on to.
Being 200 above as a solo as well is impressive. I mean, the average damage needed throughout the day during the 6th zone has been around 309. So if he's 200 above, 500 damage without any eliminations. They've been getting more than enough tags. For Pixie Walks, though, on the contrary, they need some. Flowberry Fizz out healing the Storm Surge, but for how long? As there's no more juice left. Walks and Pixie put into panic. Medkit comes through. Just a couple ticks away. Medallion getting traded. Teammate gone down. Pixie left as a solo. As it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah, now he just uses the last med kit, the last of his heals. One Reaper sniper shot is all it's going to take. A couple well-placed AR tags, a burst from the Thunder. You got to try something here, Pixie. Peek through the cone, 135, falling below. He's hoping that the medallion will be enough to continue to try to out-heal this whole scenario.
Sniper shot comes through,
wow.
110. No headshot. Is it enough? 20 below still. He needs another one. Even just take out the SMG, hit a couple shots, but a sniper one is ideally what Pixie's looking for. Take your time here, Pixie. 24. It's not enough. Still below, gets another shot. Is it enough? 30 above, it is, but for how long?
Yeah, just worrying me there at the edge of my seat. What's gonna happen? Seconds remaining until Storm Surge activated. Would have been disastrous without any heals left. Only the medallion to try to get the shield back on up, but Pixie has been granted another opportunity to make something happen, but he's not too far off from Noah, who's now suffering to Surge. You know as well as I do, when Storm Surge ticking you down, you might not have any choice but to go in on the box of the nearest player.
Water rotate. Trying to get into this 7th zone for Noah, though. He's lost Aqua already. 24 HP, no shields, no heals. Currently sitting in 9th place. Wants to maintain that top 10 going into day 2. Does he know, though, the player on the other side is also a solo that's not looking incredibly healthy.
This is where it gets hard for players like Noah and everybody else in his position. Solo, no heals. 10 teams need to go down in this next zone. Make it 9 now, as Nevs and Slovey just gets taken down. Noah just trying to look for opportunities. Just one singular damage above the threshold. Chexy is going to be his next target. Gets the piece control, but he narrowly escapes that shot. And now Noah's below the threshold looking for more.
One tick. It could be Noah's demise. The clock's ticking. The damage is increasing, now up to 64. He hits the 25 tag, but it's not going to be enough. Noah, you need to do something. You need to make something happen, and he knows. Unable to connect the shots onto Reason. Now just 13 seconds until the zone closes. Noah has to go in.
Yeah, time is ticking. Only has a few opportunities left. Gets the piece control on the other side. Malibu Mustache almost on the receiving end until Storm Surge strikes, takes him out. Medallion and Loot up for grabs for Deal and Reason. Still battling against Pixel and Debule. Piece control going on over. They sneak through a shot, but not able to connect. They don't feel confident enough to move forward, especially knowing about 30 seconds they're going to have to rotate towards zone once more.
No materials for Vidil. He finds the loot from an Elim, though. How many builds is it going to give him? Still 0. Reason, do you have any builds? Please tell me. He's crouched up. None as well. Jacob. They need to find some Elims. They need an impact. They need to do something aggressive.
This is tough because they're already sitting in first place. They don't need to make any desperate or drastic moves, but that's the position that they're currently in. Without any build, zone is going to pull back, and that's going to give them a sigh of relief. They get to recycle a lot of these builds and live to tell the tale yet another zone. Whew.
Mustache connecting a couple shots, increasing his damage done. They have more than enough, but you can never stop looking. 17 bullets in the Reaper, 300 plus in the Mythic AR. As Teeny and Misha are gonna have to rotate, but Mustache is waiting. Can he connect the shot? Unable to. As he starts his rotate.
He goes back through a lot of his old recycled builds, trying to find the safest rotation on over. Reason gets tagged up. Vidil felt the same pain, dropped to just slivers of HP. That's Mustache. He's a solo on the other side, and Reason takes him out. That's a huge elimination and a huge find in terms of loot.
2 big frenzy shots to secure the Elim. Now back in the game. 71 builds, bigs being popped, medkits being popped, and it's Thomas HD. It's Queasy up above.
Yeah, but we've seen this before. Unfortunately enough, they were unable to hang on to it. It was Veno and Tayson who eventually overthrew the captains on top of the mountain. But first you don't succeed. You try again. They have 5 eliminations so far, and this could be the moment here that they burst up that leaderboard and try to take away first place. There's still plenty of placement points on the board overall. And a nice shot like that, Skvi's gonna get dropped down to a sliver of HP. And there's a whole nother team that see he's weak down there. 275, Thomas does it again. Said he was the best sniper in the game, and that is why.
Is he the best? As now they're forced to tarp ahead. Do they want to continue holding the high ground? Ninth zone, 25 seconds left. The deal and Reason are choosing to rotate along the side. But look at that, directly into Belusi's box. 2 quick Elims.
Oh, but there's still more. Vidil goes down. Reason forced to kind of tunnel towards the backside of the zone. The pressure is definitely on, but he's finding a way to survive. Just a crevice, a nook, a cranny on the side of the mountain, while all other teams are still battling all out to try to get eliminations.
Queasy staying ahead while Thomas now connecting. So far, so good in terms of the high ground. Reason, though, he's lost his duo partner. Vidil is down. He does have that med kit to recuperate the HP and play slow, but what he does not have are materials.
Yeah, running out even with the find that he was able to have early on. It all gets shut down. Wouldn't say first place is wildly up for grabs, but it definitely has a chance for somebody to overtake, including Veno and Tayson. Started this game in 7th place. Each and every time they play, they've been getting better, adapting on the fly, and this could be their chance to finally take that first place.
Queasy Thomas need to apply pressure onto Veno and Tayson. They know they're second high, but the snipe shot connected by Veno. Now, with the advantage, pushing up for the Clouds. They want this high ground. They want this win condition. But as the risk factor increases, they drop down, and Thomas and Queasy are forced to go below as well. But Thomas gets taken out. It's Veno. Huge snipe. Now, retook high ground.
He's definitely putting respect on his name in the sniper game. He said, what? He's the best sniper? Nah. Not only gets the sniper, gets the high ground, and a chance to solidify the game now that him and Tayson are taking over.
Queasy alone. He does have a decent amount of materials, but he cannot play second height. The pressure is going to be on him as he slowly drops down below, but he has to find that layer where there's no duos, there's no solos close by. Gets a knock though. It's on Pablo. This could be a huge impact.
Yep, now he's going to get even more maps to work with. Floor getting edited. Queasy quickly thinks he gets out, but he does it yet again. I think that was another sniper on a player towards the sky, but doesn't matter. He's putting on a show. Queasy stuck by himself. Medallion doing the work to try to get his shield back on up, but he cannot wait. He doesn't have the luxury. Too many teams all around.
No medkit, just one tick away, and Storm is gonna lead to Queasy's demise here. He's gonna have to stay ahead as now gets boxed up with an opponent. Looks like he might have secured the knock, but he doesn't have time to get the finish. He cannot play in zone here. He has no heals, he has no medkit as he continues in the dirt.
Yeah, he's barely going underneath. He's trying to make sure if anybody drops, he has that perfect opportunity. No builds. Giri's Chari on the other side. Kiduo even pops into the mix. Queasy lands that first shot, and he's trying to go around. He doesn't want to get stuck as the sandwich in the middle.
Looking for the one shot. The frenzy. Is it going to be enough damage? It's not. Kiduo, hammer pump, elimination. Tayson Veno looking to secure the win condition.
And this is the same position a few seasons ago as Hari's trying to break in. He does, gets that elimination, bringing it down to a 2v2 situation. Veno and Tayson, they had the high ground, but now it's gone on over. Hari's goes down. He's the first one dropped. 2v1. Veno and Tayson versus Giri's, who's already started the heal off the backside of the zone.
How many medkits does he have? That's what's on my mind as Tayson begins the hunt. Veno trying to outlive his opponent. Who is going to be able to stay up longer?
It's all about the medkits. Veno has none. Giri's trying to make his way to the front side of the zone and doesn't get a chance. Veno and Tayson overtake high ground at the perfect moment. Well-placed snipe, and they steal away Game 6 of the FNCS Finals.
Game-changing shots from Veno. I'm not sure if he had the heal off there. No medkits to his name, but securing those last shots is what got him that elimination and that win.
That is big. Let's watch the replays. The snipe lands. Thomas goes down, and this is where Veno and Tayson completely take over. And it's not enough for these guys to take part in the FNCS Finals. They want to take over the FNCS Finals. And with a game like this to end the day, confidence has to be at an all-time high.
Thomas HD with massive snipes, but Levin said it himself. Veno has been unreal with the sniper rifle recently, and even with the SMG connecting those final bullets to secure the VR, bumping them up the leaderboard.
And this is big. This is a big, momentous moment for Veno and Tayson, because we look at Tayson, we look at his accolades, his history, one of the biggest shining stars in all of EU with the amount of FNCS championships he has, and he's looking to add another one, Takata.
But look, that's it for me and Jacob in day one of the EU FNCS Grands. But I want to know what's happened on the leaderboard. So let's head right back over to those three beautiful faces. Frankie, Levin, Mini, what do you got?
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your beautiful voices today. We'll see you back here tomorrow for day 2 of the actions. We recap, or we go through even the last 6 games of competition. And we have to say it was a third time the charm for Tayson and Veno, because it was the third time that they managed to conquer the high ground. And this time, Levin, they were able to make good.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys have really shown why they are revered. It's not been the smoothest of seasons by any measure, but they have shown up when necessary, and that's what Tayson does, Vinny. I mean, that's what we know him for. We know him for being that guy that shows up. But in this endgame, Veno, man, the highlight, that snipe right there, it's so symbolic. I said at the start of the day, as much as, you know, Thomas HD is seen as the king of sniping, and he definitely showed that in this game. Veno has been coming for the king, and he's been really giving him a run for his money. And to take his head off like that in the end game was just very symbolic, very perfect. And to win the way they did, it was a second left in terms of HP. He really needed to hit that shot. Oh man, it was a really well played end game from these two.
A little bit of a magical moment there, I think. We have Queasy and Thomas, of course, Veno's ex-duo, taking out Thomas, who, of course, Queasy picked up after splitting with Veno and saying, you know what, I am the king in this region. I am the sniping king. And that was absolutely well played from those guys. I think that's where we've seen the most success from them as well, is on that high ground. We've seen them have a little bit of a rough time in mid ground in some of the later tournaments of the season. And they seem to have been developing into that high ground style really well. It's something we don't usually see from Tayson. Of course, so it's interesting to see how those play styles have meshed between both of those guys. I like what I'm seeing, though. I think, as you mentioned at the beginning of the show, 11, they definitely have what it takes to take it all home. But, you know, we're seeing an interesting little bit of play style adjustment from those guys. So we'll see what they do tomorrow.
It feels like Levin's the predictions king now, because Levin, you did say that you felt like Veno was the best sniper in the game. And we've got some evidence to add to your bank now. So we'll keep our eyes on those two snipers during the action. Let's take a look at the leaderboard, though, because actually I'm interested to see where Tayson is, because there was an interesting theory that you had, or you pointed out to me, Mini Miner, about the fact that Tayson, when he was with Merstash this time last year, he was 7th at the end of day 1, and they actually managed to take that one in what was a thrilling finale. But he's not in number 7 anymore. So I guess we have to strike.
He's number 2.
He's in number 2. Is this a good thing or is it a bad thing, Minnie?
I mean, it's
obviously a good thing. I mean,
it's not going to be a bad thing to be high up on the league.
It's
I'd
a
rather be
great
there
thing.
than
Come on, guys, it's great. It's an amazing thing for them.
Mate, I'm the one that's... my language has been interesting this evening. Not rude, but interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, is it good to be better on the leaderboard or lower down? I think better would be the answer to that one. Yeah, no, they've done very well today. Very impressive stuff from that duo, of course. Queasy and Thomas, who again have done very well. We saw them in that end game too. And we get to see some of our other duos that have performed incredibly well today. And it's a real testament to see how well that the bigger teams, the more well-known names, have come into their own towards the latter stage of the tournament as well. After a little bit of an interesting start, you could say, Lemon.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in that endgame, it was good to see sort of Queasy and Thomas vying for height, right? Because as much as we talked about them this season and how they are, you know, now evolving into this low ground team, that was always a point we hammered on about, the fact that they still can play there and still will look for it. Just unfortunate that they were on the receiving end of a Veno snipe. Yeah, especially with some of the snipes that Thomas was hitting on height. It was really a big clash there. But ultimately, man, I think it's going to be a great day sort of for Veno and Tayson. They'll be bursting with confidence. I don't want to jinx them, but 6th time might be on the cards for Tayson. That's all I'm saying right now.
Let's take a look at page number 3 as well and see if there are any duos that we're perhaps expecting to be further up. I mean, for me, I'm always going to point out Vico and Pink, but we do know the reason why, Mini Miner. Those battles they're having early game with Kira and Kaduo over the forecast tower has led to some unfortunate results for them. But also, to be honest, Kira and Kaduo are also not making good of that situation either.
Yeah, it's one of those situations when you're contested directly like that where things can go one of two ways, right? It could be easy for them to come out on top if it's maybe a lesser known team, a less experienced team. And I think the problem that they've had as well is, of course, we have teams that are sort of going back towards that area as well, sort of spoiling the party a little bit with that fight. It hasn't been quite a clean fight that maybe both of those teams were expecting. So I'm interested to see how that adapts on day number 2. And of course, we do have a 1.5x points tomorrow on both the eliminations and the placements. So how's that going to adapt, whether people fight off spawn? Will they go for higher eliminations for some teams? Will it force them to maybe take some less risks in the game, or maybe even some more risks, of course, because you do have the elimination points. So excited to see what happens tomorrow.
Minnie, I want to just stick with you for a moment. Are you still standing by your Janice Flixie prediction for them to take the whole thing?
I'd like to, but I'm looking at Vidil up on top right now, and the last time that Vidil was up in first place after day 1 was all the way back in Chapter 3, Season 3. We know exactly what happened in that season. Of course, he won it with Giannis, his first FNCS title. So looking like that Vidil could be looking good right now, but I think realistically, Levin, you must be feeling good about Veno and Tayson at the moment.
Yeah, for sure, right? The pressure lies now on Vidil and Reason for the reasons you just said. I can't believe I just said reasons. So cringe of me.
Yeah, hilarious.
No, but look, when you look at Vidil, right, he's been in this position before and he won, right? So now there's that expectation in the back of his mind. Okay, I need to stay here and do what I did once again. for a reason, he's been here before, and he's like, last time I was here, it didn't quite work. So that's playing in the back of his mind. Okay, I can't throw this away. And that pressure, we'll see how they handle it. Of course, all the viewers there watching them, supporting them live. So, you know, they definitely have the support, and they're definitely talented enough to do it.
All I want to say is someone needs to lock BloodX out of his Twitter account so he can't jinx nobody, all right? That's all I want, BloodX. I want you to step away from the phone, step away from the keyboard. Unless you're streaming, I'll allow that. And just think about what you've done. And I'm going to think about what our duos have done, because 6 games are done and dusted, and we've got 6 more before the Axe of Champions finds a new owner in Europe. Levin and Miniminer, thank you so much for joining me. You guys, thanks for watching. We'll leave you with a sneaky peek at a tasty, lovely little outfit, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night.
That's my show. Run up and see the goal. I'm gonna make it known.
Oh, no.